Welcome everybody to the Radical Dinosaur Fan Q&A number 1. I'm Jose Carlos Cortez, project lead and voice for KB. Before we get to the questions and answers, I've got a couple things of note. I'm drawing a dinosaur during the entirety of this Q&A. Let's play a little game of guess what that dinosaur is. Write it down in the comments and let's see who gets it first. And second note, a few mistakes we made on the first episode. As pointed out by Adrian Thompson, we made a mistake naming Dimetrodon Atherapsid. It's actually just a synapsid. And Plesiosaurus is not a pliosaur, it's just a plesiosaur. Pliosaurs are plesiosaurs, but Plesiosaurus is not a pliosaur. Liopleurodon is a better example of a pliosaur. So, with our mistakes out of the way, we get to the questions. Since we didn't get any questions from our English channel, or any of our English channels, we will be translating questions from the Spanish channels. The first question, made by Zek Lullaby Art and Dididos, basically ask why did we decide to make KB a Calindrodromeus and not something else like Ichi, Triceratops, Iguanodon, Aragosaurus, etc. First and foremost, Calindrodromeus is an extremely important dinosaur in paleontology. Thanks to its discovery, we know that basically any dinosaur could have had feathers, and if they don't have them or have very few of them, they lost them after the fact. But feathers are a basal trait in Dinosauria. Heck, they even share it with the pterosaurs, which also have a bit of fluff, only that in their case they're called pycnofibers. The other reason is because Calindrodromeus embodies the objective of our channel. We take the scientific facts, even if they might go against popular media, and we relay this information as the truth, which it is. And of course the final reason to choose Calindrodromeus is because it's incredibly adorable and is a great host for the channel. Second question from Aldair Guadalajara Carvajal basically asks, is it true that T-Rex's arms were useless? And they were not. They could lift up to 199 kilograms each and could have been used to leverage themselves as they got up, clinging to the body of a prey or a loved one. Rodrigo Perez basically asked about dinosaur intelligence. Were they intelligent? And of course, in their context, dinosaurs would have been intelligent, but if we ask in the context of humans, primates, that kind of problem-solving, society-having, tool-using intelligence, there is one dinosaur that is just as good as primates, according to scientists, and those are corvids. Crows, ravens in general, are extremely intelligent animals. They have complex societies, capacity to use tools, maths, etc. But if we talk about non-avian dinosaurs, well, it's incredibly difficult to gauge intelligence of a fossil, because the size of the brain relative to the size of the body isn't necessarily an indicator of intelligence. So really, there's no way to know. Surely they'd be as intelligent as any other animal in their niches and around their size. Ivana Maite asks about Utahraptor, how they acted, what kind of animal they would have been sort of like. So, Utahraptor was a huge, bulky dromaeosaurid. It was almost like a dromaeosaurid trying to be a tyrannosaur. And of course it would have been an extremely powerful predator, but not necessarily a social one. The only evidence that we really have about some kind of semblance of society between raptors is with the bunch of Deinonychus corpses around a Tenontosaurus. And of course this isn't actual proof of, hunting in packs, as they would say. We don't know if these dinosaurs died a few days apart, died a few hours apart, if they were working together to bring down the animal, if they were just eating the corpse. There's a few individuals that died due to crushing under the body of the Tenontosaurus, but not all of them. Maybe they really just did kind of a loose temporal association between individuals, which is what paleontologists think about raptors today. Utahraptor might have acted sort of like a bear or like a coyote, in the sense that they would probably associate maybe with their mates, their family units, or only temporarily between a few individuals for a specific kill, but not every day. Everyday life for a Utahraptor would have been pretty lone wolf style. Cesar Jimenez Sotelo comments to us about how he's always asked himself about what dinosaurs were the most something. The biggest, the smallest, the fastest, the most dangerous, the most homosexual. He actually asked that. So, let's get to some records. Of course, we have to mention Amphicoelius, but Amphicoelius is a bit of a dubious thing because the fossils we had of it disappeared. It was discovered in around 1878, if memory serves, and we either didn't have the processes that let us preserve fossils in good conditions, or maybe they were stolen. The point is, they're not around, and all we have is drawings and descriptions of the thing, so yeah. Talking about dinosaurs that we do at least have some of, Argentinosaurus has been quoted as being the largest dinosaur discovered to date, at a size of around 22 to 35 meters in length. There are a few proposed hypotheses that since Argentinosaurus is a basal titanosaur, it might have been a bit shorter than other newer gigantic titanosaurs such as Pterosaurus and Alamosaurus. We can't really say for sure, but all these animals were incredibly big. About the smallest dinosaur, it's an extant bird. It's the bee hummingbird at 5 centimeters in length from beak tip to tail tip. And if we talk about non-avian dinosaurs, Microraptor would be around the smallest range of dinosaurs at 40 centimeters in length. It might have been capable of doing some pretty neat jumping with its large wings and wing-like feet. And fastest dinosaur are Nithomimids in general. Not one in particular, but they would have clocked in at around 60 kilometers per hour, which is pretty fast. And talking about the most dangerous dinosaur, well, again, it's extremely difficult to know which one would be the most dangerous, but seeing how in modern day Africa hippos are more dangerous than lions or crocodiles, it would be safe to assume that it would be a herbivore, a large herbivore. I definitely wouldn't like to be on the receiving end of a Stegosaurus thagomizer or an Ankylosaurus tail club, or a Diplodocid cutting me in half with its tail. And we do have the most homosexual dinosaur, it's Heterodontosaurus. Heterodontosaurus. I'm so funny. Jose Miguel Gonzalez Lopez asks a couple of questions. What was smarter, a Deinonychus or a Troodon? Again, it's pretty impossible to know for sure. The only metric that we have is brain size, and well, relative to body size, Troodon would have a slightly bigger brain, so make of that what you will. And the second question is, how would you think the world would be today if the KPG event wouldn't have occurred? That is to say, if dinosaurs hadn't become extinct. This is an even harder question than dinosaur intelligence because it's really impossible to know for sure what would have happened. I mean, there would have been climate change, there would have been geological changes anyway, and these would have influenced the evolution of non-avian dinosaurs and avian dinosaurs all alike. If terror birds and Argentavis are anything to go on, dinosaurs did try to get big again, but as you know, they also didn't survive up to present day. Maybe we would have a few non-avian dinosaurs smaller than their Ice Age counterparts and maybe even fluffier, but that's really just speculation. Vegeta and Benjamin Vega asked a similar question, and it's pretty impressive that a Prince of the Saiyans would ask us a question, but here we go. They ask if it's really true that all birds are dinosaurs. Vegeta says that he thinks it's an exaggeration, and Benjamin Vega just asks, like in general, and about terror birds and moa and dodos. It's not an exaggeration. All birds are dinosaurs because they belong to that group. To understand it better, it's the same as saying humans are mammals. We're part of that larger group. Even if we don't look or act like a saber-toothed tiger, birds are the same in relation to dinosaurs. They're part of the same supergroup. In fact, all birds are theropods, so therefore they're all dinosaurs. And finally, the last question is, what do you like the most about dinosaurs? Asked by Jose Luis Fayad Ramos. And well, the fact that they were real. I think that's the most amazing fact about dinosaurs. They really did exist. I like giant monsters and dragons and mythological beings, but they weren't real. They didn't walk the same earth that we walk. This is why I care more about science than perpetuating the pop cultural version of dinosaurs, because they didn't exist to fill our needs as human beings. They just lived as animals, and as any animal would. So I'm always more excited to learn more about them, how they really looked. If I was wrong in thinking they looked some other way, it is exciting to me to know that now we have a more accurate representation of them. We're closer to know what they really looked like, what their world really was like. And I think that is just absolutely amazing. So we also have some fan art from Patricio Ivan Rivera, who drew these amazing KB sketches with really dynamic lines and expressivity, and I just love it. Look at that, it's amazing! So that was it. Who guessed the dinosaur? That's Giganotosaurus! I hope a lot of you, and if not, don't feel bad. Thank you very much for watching. Give us a like if you like the video, subscribe to see what's next, and remember that if you back us on Patreon, you will have question priority and you'll get to these videos before anyone else, as well as support the channel. Have an amazing day or night, and see you next time.